Hi everyone, welcome to my channel License to Roam, where I'll be providing content on football tactics and analysis on European football and the beautiful game from across the globe. You can follow me on Twitter/X at Edward Stratman, and if you enjoy the video, would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and any comments as I get started and hope to grow the channel. All right, for this analysis, I'll be focusing on Bayern Munich star Jamal Musiala's exceptional man of the match showing against Hoffenheim, as the 20-year-old was superb on his way to scoring a double and having a huge impact towards the 3-0 win, proving a real difference maker and a game changer in the final third. The man who's already amassed over 100 Bundesliga matches came up big when his team needed him. His technical ability, intelligence, and clever movement were all especially crucial. Operating as Bayern's number 10 with plenty of freedom in Tuchel's base 4-2-3-1 shape that also took on a 4-2-4 or even a 4-3-3 at times depending on the positions of his teammates and himself. He wreaked havoc particularly between the lines and in the half spaces against Hoffenheim's 5-3-2 with his reading of the play, scanning, dovetailing with his teammates, an ability to quickly recognize vacant spaces, key catalysts towards his success. As we go through the graphics on the screen, obviously, as you can see now, that's the sort of base position he was picking up when the midfielder would step out to press a fullback. He'd usually duck into that space between the lines just so quickly. And he'd obviously know that Harry Kane and the wingers were pinning the central defenders. And his man in Soccer was usually pretty wary to step out because he didn't want to leave Kane 1v1. So just so crucial and smart the way he'd recognize the space and then move accordingly. Same as the next graphic, just taking advantage of the spaces made by his teammates drawing players and Hoffenheim, their press being directed towards different areas in the build-up of Bayern there. So he's just so smart. You give him a couple of seconds and he'll just exploit the space as can be seen there. And then obviously he can turn, face, and then drive toward forwards on the dribble because he's already scanned, knowing he can turn instantly. Obviously, you see the graphic here where Bayern player up back through, and he's just nicely positioned there to receive the ball straight to feet and then turn and run against the backheadling, retreating defense, which is a really great position for him to be in. He can survey the whole field, and it's just a really tough situation for Hoffenheim to face against such a dribbling master like Musiala. Obviously, moving on to the next one, you can see he's really smartly dropped deep there and he's drawn Inzaghi with him, which has then created space for the third man combination and Lima to exploit the space in the channel there. Also note how Kane's pinning two markers there to make that space. So just really smart. He obviously plays the layoff perfectly into Lima's path, who's facing forward and got the dynamic advantage to give himself an edge to stream forward into the final third and whip in across. And obviously here we can see that he's dropped off the line. They've been wary to follow him and he's created a 4v3 there and he's the free man. He's got plenty of room between the lines. He can just turn and face and just cause havoc in that final third where he's so dangerous with his vision, composure, reading of the play. Another one here where he's just scanning prior to receiving the ball, just off the back shoulder of the midfielder there. Just really clever work once again, knowing what's going on, got a great picture of his surroundings and just exploits the space when it pops up. Very subtle. Obviously, 1 second they think they have him marked and the next second they don't. And so, yeah, he just punishes teams for any little misstep. And then this is one where for his goal where he actually created space really smartly with a 4v3. Did a little hesitation step, opened the passing lane for himself, and then punished Hoffenheim emphatically with the drilling finish from the angle. So, yeah, just encapsulated what a fine player he is, that move. And here's another angle of it. It's just such a tough shot to make, but he backed himself. He's confident and, yeah, a lot of bodies to beat and the keeper from that angle, but the shot had the power and placement to find the back of the net there. And then here's his second goal, which was a really excellent encapsulation as well of what he brings to the table. Obviously, you see between the lines, turned, dribbled, and then engaged in a 1-2 with Sane. And obviously, he moved into the box smartly to find that space before opening up his body expertly to just plant that finish into the back of the net. And once again, it's one of those situations where you just give him any little bit of space and he'll really punish the back line. And another thing here, which was noticeable throughout the game, was his subtle rotations with Harry Kane, where they just alter the reference points for the defense and just give that variety to compound issues, force those three midfielders and then the defenders into always having to be in dilemmas and confusion. And they just never really let them settle into their groove because they were always just moving in and out of space, operating its number 9, I guess a false 9 in Musiala's case. So it's just, compounded issues when they were trying to pick them up. And obviously, here's another fine example where he notices Kane dropping deep. He draws two players, then the space is open. Just as the defender's attention's drawn away, Musiala takes full advantage, doing the opposite movement and going in behind to latch onto the through ball. Obviously, a very smart pass there to find him as well. And then for this final graphic, it was interesting. Obviously, Muller was on the right, so Musiala would sort of rotate with him there just to further mix things up and add that variety. And obviously Muller's the master of being the space invader, and Musiala's certainly picking up that mantle. He's just so quick to recognize, identify, execute, and exploit those zones, just like he has done so far. And then another key thing associated with his performance was how he pinned and occupied markers and fix them in position so others could receive freely, just like in the graphic on your screen now, where obviously Sane's edged in and he's got plenty of room to receive that pass between the lines. Defenders definitely don't want to leave Musiala, so he's got 2 on him there because he was the prime candidate all game and just so dangerous all over that final third. And yeah, Hoffenheim really struggled to come to grips with stopping him. And here's a pretty cool little position graph here. It just shows how high and just the areas that he was causing damage in. That sort of off to the right half space and in between the lines was where he did most of his damage. Another average position map there, just showing again the positioning and the proximity with that front line. He just combined really well and used a lot of his smart passing to sort of unlock the back line as well as his movement. There's a heat map there to further amplify what we've been talking about. And then obviously, the decision making, the judgment, reading of the play, space invading, all that was really cool. And then the numbers pretty much back that up. He completed the most dribbles of any Bayern player with 6. He had the second most shots on 5 behind only Kane, who had 6. Equal most touches in the penalty area with Kane on 7. He had the most overall duels won out of any of his teammates on 15. Most deep completions at 6. Also, he had 4 progressive passes, 2 shot assists, which accentuated his outstanding night at the office. And obviously his defensive pressing and awareness and just the interceptions, the ability to recover the ball, saw him play his part without possession too in a match where Bayern really dominated the ball. But yeah, there were some really cool moments of seeing that dribbling mastery with his feints, shimmies, ability to weave away from pretty much impossible almost situations just with that awareness and the skill he has on the ball, that languid style. So he pretty much did it all in this game, from obviously finding space for himself, making space for others, creating chances and showcasing his dribbling and all those little things that make him such a special player, like the acceleration and the ball retention skills. And just for a player so young, it was really so impressive just to see him put in such a masterclass again as he continues to catch the eye and illustrate why he's one of the finest and most exciting young players in world football. There's that one. That's the end of the analysis. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Would really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Have a great day and stay tuned for the next analysis.